It's a huge joy for me to stand before you, distinguished leaders of today and the future. The Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, Professor Nawangwe, in absentia, because he welcomed us and gave us the opportunity to be at this university, at least for this very dialogue. The Dean of Students, Dr. Nakasa, the Dean of Students, Makerere University, the great Makerere. The chief guest and my senior and friend, Brig.Gen Henry Isoke, the Guild President, Makerere University, Mr. Vincent Ruwama, who, Nsamba, I apologize, because he paid me a courtesy visit. I was honored to host the whole Guild President of Makerere University, and we had a very, very courteous talk, and I am so proud that together with the Guild of Makerere University, the great Makerere, we have been interacting closely, and today is a day that we have been waiting for. All of you, the distinguished students from various universities, I apologize that I have not recognized the big president of UNSA, Your Excellency, President Okot Francis, and all the representatives of guilds of various universities present today. It is an honor for me. My brother, senior officer from the Ministry of Labor, representing the Permanent Secretary, I requested the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development to give us an able senior officer to come and elaborate on what government is doing to empower the youth, because the country is in your hands. Today, tomorrow, and the future. Ours is to ensure that we do what we are tasked to do, so that for you, you will take it forward with great honesty, and we're looking forward to great fruits from all of you present today. Distinguished leaders and youthful and able friends, may I request all of us, all of you, to stand up and clap for yourselves for sparing your precious time to be in this dialogue. Please, you need to stretch hands. So I am clapping louder. Yes, yes. Thank you very, very much for sparing your precious time. Please take your seats. All your concerns are genuine, and we are taking all your concerns and questions very seriously. So I have been writing, and now I have about 10 pages of your concerns, and so I request that I will not be able to answer each and every concern or question that you have posed to us, but I am here to tell you that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, puts all his attention to the youth, and if you have noted, with those of you that hear from him, he is always addressing the Vazukuru first, the youth, the young people. You are in his heart, you are in his mind, and all programs that are being pushed forward, they are meant to empower the youth, they are meant to empower you, because we know without any doubt that you are the people that are going to change the future of this country. So that one, we recognize the fact that you are the able and energetic and competent people that are supposed to clean up whatever that we have not yet cleaned up, whatever that is not yet going right. We are depending on you, the young people, the empowered, with your competencies, with your knowledge, with your skill, with your zeal, with all that you are empowered with. We want you to come together and clean up this beautiful motherland of ours, Uganda. We don't believe in passing blame. allow me, with the permission from my senior and our chief guest, to own up all that has not been going right. We want to say we are sorry, but none of us intends to see things going wrong. None of us wants to see corruption eating our country. That's why we are never seated. We are always working, we are always mobilizing, we are fighting corruption, and now we are here to learn from you, but also to empower you by saying, get up, get better organized, and practically fight corruption. We don't believe in powering yourselves on the streets, that you are coming to demonstrate against corruption, because demonstrating does not add much value to what you want to achieve. Yes, showing up to say, I am here and this is what has brought me. And indeed, it is a constitutional right for people to demonstrate, but it has to be an organized demonstration. Even the Constitution gives out, stipulates the numbers of those that can walk peacefully and present their grievances to specific authorities. But I believe in a statement that says, united we stand, divided we fall. The moment you divide yourselves, for some of you to march to the streets, others to go even beyond what is expected of tradition and values, stripping themselves naked to march, meanwhile that one also is corruption. Because in Greek there's the Latin word of corruption, corruptus, where we derive the word corruption. When you go deep to understand it, it means something broken, something that is not whole. So once you have stripped yourself naked, you are already broken in morals, therefore you are corrupt. So you cannot fight corruption when you yourselves are not better organized. We have taken note of all that you have put to us as government. Allow me make some correction, maybe give some information to my young son, but an empowered elite of Nup, who said that that one time our government will go and they will come and clean up. Us as military officers, we belong to the state of you. we don't go with the governments. Not to say that we are not serving this government. We are serving in this government, but we are also meant to serve all governments. However, never ever tell a military officer that you are going, because who will protect you when you come? We will not go anywhere. We are going to be here we will not go anywhere. We are here to work with you, here to make things better, here to protect you. So the giving notice that your government is going, no, this is our government, all of us, including you, my young son, who says you don't support this government. At least the government is there to protect you and to ensure that you have freedom of speech. So it is our government, all of us, wherever we belong, and we are supposed to protect it. So having owned up, let me share with you my views that brought me today. I am delighted to see many youth from public and private, I don't know whether we have some private universities from across the country gather here to share thoughts on how to rebrand our country, Uganda, through collective efforts in fighting corruption. One of the founders of London School of Economics, a prestigious university in the United Kingdom, George Bernard Shaw, once described poverty as the greatest evil and the worst of crimes. Not to say that corruption is brought by poverty, but a lot of corruption is tagged to corruption of need. And so when you see most of us saying, as we fight corruption, let us get a way of coming together to improve welfare of everyone in a very balanced manner. And that is a message from His Excellency the President all the time. His Excellency President Museveni is always commanding those of us that he commands in the military as our commanding chief to ensure that we protect citizens with all their properties, but also lead the way to ensure that they have a way to create wealth and improve their welfare. So, because the head of the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, my senior and Brigadier General Henry Isoke is here, he will tell you about the many strategies that government has put in place to fight corruption and to involve everyone. For me, mine, because I head the State House Investors Protection Unit, mine is to tell you what we all can do to ensure that we improve our welfare. After all, our topic today, the key word is socio-economic transformation. His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the retired General of the Resistance Army, consistently teaches every able-bodied Ugandan to get involved in efforts to enhance their welfare. I wish to note that from the time I have worked with His Excellency the President, key amongst his teachings is for every able Ugandan to get involved in enhancing their welfare. Therefore, my question to you is, what are you as able youthful citizens prepared to do to further transform our country? This afternoon, I will attempt to underscore the necessity of the youth putting up a united front against unemployment and corruption so that you can become not only co-creators of wealth, but also joint promoters of national prosperity. Robert F. Kennedy once said, "This world demands the qualities of youth, not a time of life, but a state of mind, a temper of the will, a quality of imagination, a predominance of courage over timidity, of the appetite of adventure over the love for ease." It is imperative for all of us to note that we must move out of our comfort. You who are being empowered with skills, with the knowledge, with the way to innovate, and I congratulate most of you that are already innovating applications or apps that are creating jobs. I was enlightened about the Makerere. You already have a TV online created by your own, by a student. Is he here? Or he's already covering us online somewhere? Yes. The gentleman, what is the name of your app? The Mac Interface TV. I watched it. It has high quality photographs and so congratulations, Makerere. You are already fighting poverty, and in that way, you're making a contribution against socio-economic transformation. I really enjoyed the discussion with these great leaders, with your 90th speaker, and I see the president of MOOBS present. Can I recognize your presence? Please stand up. His Excellency President, His Excellency President Moses Amanya, MOOBS. I was enlightened on how you are creating knowledge and using innovations, using your competencies. Congratulations, friends, because we are tired of hearing the story of lamenting about corruption. No, it is time for us to do something that is going to improve our welfare as we eliminate the corrupt. We're not going to settle. We're not going to settle when the corrupt are still attacking the wealth and maybe denying some other people chances of doing what they should be doing. It is time for those of you who are determined to make a contribution in socio-economic transformation, to desist the wrong elements, fight the corrupt by blocking them, don't accept to give a bribe, don't take it from anybody, report what is wrong. So my daughter from Mukazo was talking about how government contracts are too expensive and very costly. We agree. But now that you are a council member in your local government, what are you doing to question it at your level? Because if you are a councillor, you're already a leader there. What have you also done as a person who is seeing what is not going right to ensure that you use your position to clean up where you are? Because that's the way to fight corruption, that you start from where you are. And if you are empowered in any position, use it to clean up. So you are already empowered. So instead of coming to say, this is going wrong, no, do something to correct what is going wrong from where you are. Corruption is a thread. It starts from homes, it goes to schools, it comes back to society. So let's break it from where we are, starting with our homes. And I liked the statement from one of the participants who said that if you see your father coming home or your mother coming home with bags of money, you should resist and question them, because that money would have maybe been for a road or a hospital, and some people would die there. So start fighting corruption practically, not by words. Kennedy's description of the youth in 1966 is even more inspiring today, 58 years later. His characterization underlines the promise and resourcefulness of the youth to spur socio-economic transformation. In the same vein, our own President, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is committed to empowering the youth to strategic leadership positions which inform and determine decision-making. This is demonstrated by his appointment of youthful figures to strategic ministerial cabinet positions. And if we are to highlight a number of youth that are in cabinet, at least the current ones that you know, they include the former Vice Guild President, Honorable Lillian Abel, who is now the Vice President of Makerere University, who is now and he was also the Chairperson of National Youth Council, and is now the Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness. Isn't Makerere in leadership? After, when you graduate, expect to sometime be in cabinet, be the presidents, be the speakers of parliament, so that you make changes. So I wanted to bring out the fact that those of you who think that you may be sidelined, once you are focused and you demonstrate your competencies in leadership, you will find yourselves at the table of decision making. We don't have only the Honorable Abel, we also have the youthful Honorable Fiona Nyamutoro, who is the Minister of State for Energy. We have the Honorable Peter Ogwang, a child of, he was born in 1986, and is a State Minister of Youth, a State Minister of State for Sports in the Ministry of Education. Of course, also the Honorable Barnabas, the Minister of State for Youth and Children, is a youth. So the youth are being empowered because, yes, why not? Aren't you empowered? Aren't those youthful people? Every state globally has 3 arms of the state. Once you find yourself antagonizing with the law, judiciary is independent. They will handle you once you are already in judiciary. The executive will not follow to dictate what is happening in the judiciary. And that's where I was saying that don't divide yourselves. Please unite for a common cause. The moment you start demonstrating, those that will be demonstrating will be inviting police, and police will finally hand you over to judiciary. Then you will not now blame the executive or the government. because you will have divided yourselves. So allow me proceed to say that for continued progress, each one of us has an obligation to practice and promote the 4 principles that guide our national development. And these are patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. When we all aim at those four principles of patriotism, love for nation, love for country, love for your motherland or fatherland, to build it, to make your own contribution, extend to Africa as a Pan-Africanist, because we need a bigger voice on the international or global platform. Then we will drive socio-economic transformation much better, and will attain our much needed democracy in completion, because we already have it, but maybe it's not yet complete because we are still lacking the unity that is much needed. Indeed, I believe that your path to shared prosperity is through unity and collaboration aimed at improving your welfare. That's why consultations for input to National Development Plan 4 are calling for action across sectors to prioritize youth empowerment. There is an ongoing consultation which is about to be concluded, and the good thing, the academia or the academicians or the institutions of higher learning and tertiary at all levels are deeply involved in national development planning, led by the chairperson of National Planning Authority is Professor Barnabas, who is a great academician, and the ED, the executive director, is Dr. Muvawara, who is also a good academician. He's a doctor of economics from Makerere University. May I insist that indeed Makerere University is in complete leadership, and so those of you who are here know that you are already empowered, because you are at the top, you are in the middle, and now you are the ones following the chain of leadership to ensure that we together take our country forward and improve it much further for prosperity. Let me make this statement by Franza Fanon. He says that each generation must, and out of obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. May I appeal to you to discover your own mission and pursue it without elements of betrayal. Because if you come together and dialogue, I believe with all my heart that out of dialoguing, you get solutions that can be implemented by those that are fully empowered to inform policy and make decisions. May I therefore beg your indulgence to leave this question for you to ponder. What is your mission? What is the mission of your generation? I don't need answers. Keep thinking about it. What is the mission of your generation? Despite the strides towards the SDGs agreed 12 years ago, we are still struggling to eradicate poverty and to decisively address this. We need collective efforts, and importantly, of young, energetic, and competent youth. The preliminary results in the just concluded UBO census indicate that Uganda's population of 45.9 million people, 3/4, that is 78%, is below the age of 35. The big concern is that 44.4% of our population comprises of dependents, and in my view, this concern calls for hard work, collaborative coordination in addressing the dependency syndrome. Now, those of you that are already innovating and inventing apps and creating jobs of all sorts, you are the right people that are going to fight this dependency syndrome, and in that, you will be making a practical contribution in the fight against corruption by eliminating those who want to have freedom to take what they have not earned. So let us, of course, there are dependents there are those that deserve to be dependents because of their age or because of their status or condition. But it can't be that 44.4% of the population are all unable or are too young to earn a living. It is because they expect someone to cater and give them free. So now that you are empowered, please fight the dependency syndrome by involving everyone to do something and earn what they deserve. Given the opportunity to interact with you, distinguished participants in this dialogue, permit me to appeal to you, youth leaders, and your upcoming colleagues to desist and reject wrong elements who will lure you into obstructive activities that sometimes escalate to crime. There I insist that don't allow your colleagues, convince them and educate them that if you're going to organize what is not acceptable, what is legally wrong, you will be entertaining, you'll be entertaining security or police to take you to the courts of law. And when you are divided, others are studying, others are demonstrating, others are in courts of law, others are even calling, us in the military, we always come into the situation of civil matter once police has called upon us. So again, if we are to join in the fight against stabilizing people other than creating jobs or creating wealth, it is destructive, and we don't want to waste time in fighting crime other than promoting wealth creation or socio-economic transformation, as our topic is today. We appeal to you, the current and future leaders, to exploit your natural abilities, intellect, competence, vigor, agility, and stamina to lead in the era of resisting corrupt tendencies and enhancing creativity and innovation. That is our appeal, that please enhance creativity and innovation. You have a lot of innovations. For the time I have interacted with young people, I see a lot of riches in you, your competencies, your abilities, your exposure that you get from interacting with others. You can make this world better. You can eliminate the corrupt by desisting, because the Bible puts it clear that to resist the devil, resist the evil, and the evil will flee. Choose to resist evil, choose to do what is right, and we shall together push for furthering socio-economic transformation. To conclude my talk, I will leave you with the words of one African inspirational and revolutionary leader, and this is Nelson Mandela. And I quote, "To the youth of today, I also have a wish to make. Be the script writers of your destiny and future yourselves as stars that showed the way towards the brighter future." That is what I want to leave with you, and we are all available to continue interacting with you, learning from you what you want us to do, as those that are in some offices or some positions of leadership. We are very sure that you are the leaders today and you're taking the future forward. Please be the stars that will shine brighter in our country and for the world to be a better place than you found it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. I want to begin by asking the student of law whether it is not better to vent your anger like this than go to be beaten. You are an intellectual. There are 50 million people in Uganda. There are enough people to go to the street. But the country is looking at you as one of those that are going to transform society. And you think the most important thing is to go and shout and aren't there enough people to do that? With all the investment the country has put in you, the continent has put in you, they have put hope in you. Really. I think this is a better way of venting your anger. Actually, more people will hear you than when you're on the street. Now, Omujugu is not here. He's my friend on Facebook. He's one of those actually who normally even writes to me WhatsApp messages and criticizes me. And I respond. So I'm surprised that today he chose to really attack me here in public. But it is okay. Now, the issue he was raising, and I have to make this clear. He said abuse of power is a form of corruption. But he did not say why I signed letters suspending leaders. I was actually reacting to abuse of power. And the issue is, even you student leaders, you have power. You have been elected, you have some power. And what you say, the other students listen. So when you know very well that there is a fees policy which was approved in 2016, it has been implemented since 2016, and you begin passing around messages saying, management has come up with a new policy, and they have negotiated with the guild president, we must fight them. And you put signs of fire on all. Huh? Now, what do you expect me to do? You are abusing your power because you are telling lies to the students. So in that sense, you can say, I'm the first person to fight corruption if abuse of power is corruption. Let us be intellectuals. We cannot claim to be the leading institution on the African continent, the top black university, and we are behaving in ways that don't reflect that. Actually, what I want to tell you, the rest of the world is watching Makerere, because they'll say, oh, so people at the top black university behave like this. Then so that also answers the gentleman who was in the corner there, because he was also talking of abuse of power, that I suspended him. I actually didn't know that no. Did I really suspend you? Huh? I only signed the 2 letters. I know the 2 people I suspended. The others I warned, and by the way, I will keep warning when I see that you are going on the wrong way. And when we warn you, we realize that you actually repent. Now, there is a gentleman who talked about jobs and saying it is giving out jobs to the wrong people who don't have qualifications, and they're leaving us who have the qualifications, which is bringing these problems of corruption. And for some reason, he was saying, Mr. Vice Chancellor, make sure the right people get the jobs. I'm not the employer that side. My job is to give you enough skills so that when you live here and you go out looking for a job, I'll be happy if you get that job. If you don't get that job, as an educated person, as a top brain of Africa, the other people are looking at you. They are expecting you to be the person to create those jobs. And I'm happy that a lot of our graduates these days go out there. They are not looking for jobs. They begin creating their own jobs. That's the way to go for Uganda. That's the way to go for Africa. Our population is growing very fast. There are a lot of young people. I think the commissioner talked about the population of young people. Those who are not in employment, they are not in education, they expect to be employed. Who is going to create that employment? 4 million people, and that is now. In 5 years, there will be 25 million. So who do you think will be expected to create those jobs? No number of Chinese companies coming here, Indian companies, American companies, is going to employ that 25 million people. We must devise ways of creating those jobs ourselves using our educated people. And it doesn't matter what you have studied. If we have not empowered you to know that you are powerful enough to begin a business, to help the community, then we have failed in our job. But I believe that we give you enough information, we empower you, you leave this university with one of the best degrees, because with our degree you can go anywhere in the world and be employed. Nobody will even say, oh, you first go and attend, because they know Makerere quality. We have a lot of graduates that are not employed, and we have to get a solution to that. But most importantly, we must change our mindset and know that it is we, the elite, the ones who have been so privileged, because you are privileged, as I told you, to get that degree at an institution like Makerere, who must change the situation. But we can only do that if we are focused on what we are doing. Those are the only issues that arose in my address. I hope I have answered. I'm going to follow up with Jugujugu on Facebook and tell him what I said here, so that we are on the same page. But I am happy about this because you are able openly to speak to government, because these are government representatives. They have got the message. They are taking the message back. If you go and demonstrate on the street, so what? You'll be picked and taken away. And people think, oh, those are the usual hooligans. So thank you very much for your contributions. I'm happy that you have been very open. The NRM man who has been disturbed by our staff, you don't have to wait to come here to tell me that people are doing something wrong. We have got systems in the university. If you are the one who actually was trying to point out something wrong, and then people are turning it against you, for you can even walk into my office and say there is something wrong. So we are going to follow up that matter. The Dean of Students is here. Bring the issue to her, and we shall handle it. I do apologize that I must go for another engagement, but I will stay and listen to the guest of honor, then I leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe. Another round of applause for him. Yeah, at least he has tried to make clarity on the issues that were forwarded to him, and he has responded to everyone who asked him.
The moderator, I also accord you thanks. You've managed us very well to use the words of my sister. And I'm also aware, like she has said, people have sat for a long time. I'll try to be as fast as possible. The Dean of Students, my colleague, Sister Kano Edith Nakalema, the representative of the PS from Gender, the Guild President, the President of the Uganda National Students Association, all student leaders, and all those senior people that I may not have recognized well in the protocol lineup. I appreciate you. Once again, I think this was a grand opportunity for me, really generated by my sister Edith, whom I had the opportunity to replace at the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, and also want to take this opportunity before these youth to thank Edith for being an ardent fighter of corruption, and no wonder His Excellency the President found it fitting among the many to entrust her to pioneer the leadership of the unit, which she built from the scratch up to the time she handed it over to me when she was going for her other strategic assignments. And I want to say she did a good job, and she continues doing a good job. I still benefit from the networks of her good PR, and this is part of the PR. She organized this with the student leaders to have this dialogue. To me now, it is going to be a caron of this conversation. Fighting corruption, it has been articulated by the students themselves, articulated by the leaders, that is a responsibility of everybody. What we are hearing in the audience, what has government done? It's a good question, but also ask yourself, you as an individual, what have you done? Me as an individual, what have I done? When somebody says government has failed, let it hand over to whoever. Have you succeeded? You as an individual. You as a youth. And one of the youth students put it very well, and came from the audience. Before we blame the others, we as youth, what have we done? Many times the youth have been given responsibilities at local, central government, even in a private. Every day we are arresting youth, the engineers, the lawyers, who have been given responsibility, and they are busy involved in fraud. These are youth. Some of them professionals. So, Edith was right to say we honor, we agree, we own up that there is corruption in the country. Not a single speech has the president made addressing the nation has his agenda always includes talking about corruption. So whoever doubts the political will, I think is not being fair and reasonable. because political will starts with the president. Talking about corruption in all his sensitization and mobilization speeches is always the priority. He has not only stopped there, he has created institutions, which I'm not going to enumerate. Various institutions that have been put in place. And all these, the problem is you cannot blame institutions being created, but possibly the people who are in those institutions. Because these institutions are very well thought out. Some of them are conventional. When you go to any country, any progressive country, you'll find those institutions there. And our president has ensured that these institutions, there is an institutional framework. We are not operating a vacuum like it used to be long, long ago. He has created institutions. And those are institutions that we must ride on. He has facilitated and encouraged various laws to be enacted. I'm not going to read them. You have them. I have them. Several legislations the government have put in place. So we have an institutional legal framework to fight corruption. That's a beginning. And we should be, if we are analytical, and that's why I thought the professor had a point. If you're in an audience like this, talk from a point of information. If you stand up and say, what has the government done? And then you're saying, no, government must hand over. And then I ask you, can you tell me what institutional and legislative framework is in Uganda? If you are our representative at an international conference, and you were cornered and asked that question, what institutional legislative framework is there to enhance transparency and accountability? If I gave you that question today, you as students, I don't know how much you would score. If you are going to score 30%, then you shouldn't raise questions which are not informed. Now, you as intellectuals, you must study policy. Don't just be activists running around because some negative forces have seen a weakness in you. Be independent and be analytical. There is a very, very elaborate institutional framework that the government has created in the last about possibly 30 years. And to me, that should give us hope. We have something to build on. And that comes with the political will. The theme is about socioeconomic transformation. And our leadership has distilled core principles that it has identified as key in strengthening these institutions. Sing song again, the president has always preached Pan-Africanism, starting with patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socioeconomic transformation, and democracy. Some of your statements you are making, they are okay, but you must be patriotic, especially you, the youth. We are not going to fight, we are not going to achieve socio-economic transformation when we don't have patriotism. Love your country, and when you are talking about your country, have passion. There are a lot of good things out there which are being done. So there is a lot of goodwill by government. There is a lot of complementary effort. The voice is huge, and maybe that is why all this effort is still being put in place. And that is why we benefit from an interaction like this one, because we have agreed that corruption starts with you and me, that corruption is in your home. Before you look at General or Nakalema or my friend from Gender, they don't have the final solution. The solution is, yes, policy and mandate, they are responsible, but it starts from down. So you are there, you are getting calls from the RDC, from whoever, when the cases should be handled by the parish chief, the chairman, LOC1. So the problem of corruption is complex. There is a lot of goodwill. The president has demonstrated it. We only need to ride on it. What has occasioned this interaction is that demonstration. And I want to add on the words of the professor and Colonel Nakalema, please, the youth, don't accept to be used as toys. I was here in Makerere. Makerere has it is one of, like the professor rightly said, it is a very, very prestigious university up to now. But it has a culture, a long-time culture of being rebellious. We even experienced it. You see that Lumumba, Nkrumah here, in 1983, when I joined. That day it was burning. And it had a conflict with the Northcote. And the Northcote people were busy shouting, fanning, that let the fire continue. There is no football match that would happen without a fight. And this culture has also continued. In some cases, there are very valid reasons. But the leadership may not necessarily be totally because of bad faith. It might be to protect you people. Finish your exams and course, because for us it was free. Nobody paid money, but now your parents are paying. There might be issues that you can resolve without necessarily being violent. Some of us, if you want to think anger, some of us have had more anger than you, and we have fought wars. But we know what should drive you up to that extent. So don't pretend to be angry when you are only being at times manipulated. They are wrong people. You may on the surface of it look at corruption, yes, but there are people who have their own agendas. And why does the government take charge and say, no, that demonstration shouldn't be there? Don't think these intelligence outfits are there for nothing. Some of them have got impeccable intelligence that you don't have. I had the opportunity of being in one of the intelligence services at a certain level. So I know how the wrong people manipulate innocent souls like you, because you think you can speak some English, you've been to the university, you can see things on the top, but people have their own agendas, and that those agendas may be known by those intelligence organizations. If they find some people with petrol, with all sorts of funny things, which you may not be aware, because they have promised you jobs, they have promised you when they come to power, they have. So please, the question was, can the military get the members and guard us? If our intelligence is right and your demonstration is just, you don't even need to be guarded. The other day the president said they carried out a procession with the Colonel Nakalema, I think it was 2019. Yes, he is the first to go ahead, and he has demonstrated it before. So why would anybody not join you? We are completely against the corrupt, completely. And the corrupt are the few. The majority are the victim. So there is nobody who wouldn't come to, when you don't need members. But we shall bring out those members when the police says, please bring the members. It seems in this procession, Kampala might go on flames. You heard what happened in Kenya. Can we wait for such a situation? No, not here. So my friends, the young people, this country has achieved so much. Security, I said, you can move everywhere. The roads, we have multiplied. In 1986, we had about 840 kilometers, and now we are talking of over 6,000. You know? Look at the electricity we have. You can't count. Now, some of you, if this government had not done serious immunization, maybe you wouldn't be surviving at the time you were born. Now, we are having life expectancy of 64 years. In 1986, it was 48 years. Now 64, almost 65. People in subsistence agriculture have moved down to possibly below 39%, when not many years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they were around 68. Industries, in 1980, we had only about 80 industries. Now we have about 8,000. So if we didn't have corruption, where would we be? Would certainly be very far. But also, can we say that the government has not done much? So with that, without taking a lot of your time, I would wish to thank you. You brought in very valid concerns. I look forward to, if you have complaints, I can give you I'm sure it is somewhere. Our call center number is 0800 202 500. Bring in any complaints. We may not say, because we're a small unit, we may not address everything, but if we can't, we can refer it to other agencies, IGG, CID headquarters, RDCs. These people don't sleep in the call center. They are there to serve you. So I would want to say that we shouldn't be despondent. Our commander-in-chief has said this is a little war, because he has fought many, many wars, like somebody testified here. And he finished them. Now that they are finished and we have peace, we are now he has embarked on a new war on corruption. And even I was surprised. People are talking of small fish being caught only. The week you people, so those who have testified that went to that demonstration, that week, there were members of parliament. I don't know how many who were put in. There are ministers, maybe few, but could be files, other files are being developed. So there is nothing like leaving out the small fish, the big fish. But at the same time, we can't also leave the ones you call small fish. Now, if we get complaints about so and so, is for example, a cow. Do we fail to arrest him because he's a cow and he's not a minister? So government is doing its best. It's not enough yet. Fighting corruption is a responsibility for all of us. You are the foot soldiers. I'm happy you are angry enough. We shall work with you and see how we can push this country out of this malaise of corruption, so that we achieve socio-economic transformation. Thank you very much.
Okay, we can take back our seats. Thank you very much, Brigadiers, in a very short period of time, but also giving clarity on the direction that young people should take against corruption. I believe that he has responded to some of the questions, galvanized together, shooting many issues with few bullets. But I also know that we had a very strong rapporteuring team that captured nearly everything that we talked about here. They will prepare a proper report and submit to the organizing committee that will later take to our two distinguished guests. Allow me once again appreciate so much the office of Brigadier General Isoke for the support he rendered, the extra support he rendered to the organizing committee to put together this function. I want to request you to thank him. I also want to appreciate the State House Investors Protection Unit under the leadership of Colonel Edith Nakalema.
Then my vote of thanks again goes to the Guild President and the administration for having come up with this initiative. I know we have learned a lot. I'm going to leave one quote from one scholar called Tofra. The illiterates of the 21st century are not those who cannot read and write, but those who have failed to learn and relearn. I want to tell Colonel Edith Nakalema and Brigadier General Isoke that we have learned and we shall keep learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, our moderator for today. Our chief guest, General, I'm sorry, I may not get the protocols right, the head of the Anti-Corruption Unit, State House, Colonel Edith Nakalema, our guest from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, the Guild President of Makerere University, the President Onsa, the Guild President of Makerere University Business School, all students present here, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great honor to be part of this discussion. Thank you very much for your participation and engagement. We don't take it for granted. You've sat for a very long time. I'm even shy to be here speaking to you when I know you're very, very hungry. In this discussion, the discussion has been very insightful. It has been very thought-provoking and very timely, and I would like to thank the Guild President and your team for putting up such a very significant event, a very crucial topic. Thank you very, very much, and I encourage you to go ahead and provide such important discussions. We have learned that corruption is multifaceted and complex. It is not a one-man's show. It is a collective responsibility, so all of us can create an environment where we ensure that there is transparency, accountability, and integrity. Let's keep the discussion going. Together we can stamp out corruption. Thank you very, very much. Enjoy your lunch or dinner.
Have a pleasant evening.
The Guild President of Makerere is signing. And then the WUNSA President, President of all the students in this country. Okay. Thank you very much. The Dean of Students, Makerere University. Our guest from Ministry of Gender representing the Permanent Secretary. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We can take back our seats. The second photo, the organizing team, the team that met Colonel Nakalema in our office, please step forward. Let's do this faster. Let's not Zoom met with the Fande Nakalema to craft this event. If that is done, then lastly, the guild leaders of Makerere University, ministers, JRCs, are you there? If you're not there, then you've been represented by the guild president. Can we have more people, some student leaders to just... There's a photo that the photographer is trying to tell me about. You can join the photo. Some people from the audience, a few more people from the audience.